so high that I can blue skies, sunrise. Where's the light I can find and hold me up so high that I...
This is the forecast reading for the week of 10th of October 2016. This is an overall reading. It includes both your love as well as a general forecast. Now, before I start, often there are comments in the comment boxes below asking which tarot decks I use and also which music is in the videos. Please have a look right at the end of the video. You will see everything is credited there. The tarot boxes, there's photographs of each one so you can see exactly which tarot cards are used, and they're usually in the order that I've done the cards in the reading, and the music is also credited there. So in every single video you will find that. Okay, now the overarching theme of this week. So there's a story to this week. I'll tell you the story, but the overarching theme of the week is all about establishing healthy boundaries. It's really about, do you feel you sacrifice too much? Are you not being true to yourself? Are you giving too much of yourself? And this is really about how you feel, because this is different for everybody. So what you've got to gauge is, do you feel you are giving up too much of yourself, giving up too much of what you believe in, giving up too much of what you have, giving up too much of your time? This is something you're going to be taking a look at this week. And then the next card, I had such a clear little movie play out in my head, because this card says, and then when you least expect it, a brilliant solution presents itself. And this little story played out in my head immediately of you guys hammering away at something, trying to solve something, trying to get something moving. And you just sit down and you give this fairly heavy sigh, and your thoughts are, you really don't know what to do next. And your fairy godmother, aka your guardian angel, zoots off and knocks on Spirit's door and says, have you got a moment? I know you're terribly busy. And Spirit looks up from a desk full of very important things it's busy with and says, yes. And your fairy godmother, aka your guardian angel, says, so-and-so is struggling. You know they're hardwired to make mistakes. They've really, really been trying. And he just nods his head and says, do what needs to be done. And your guardian angel zoots back in again, and poof, voila, something happens, and that brilliant solution presents itself. Something you couldn't possibly even have thought of, or something you may even tried at some stage and it didn't work, and suddenly it works. It's really that kind of thing that's happening this week. And of course, it's going to be so different for each of you. It's just going to depend on where you've been plugging away at something, and it just does not seem to be coming together. So that's a really nice thing happening for you guys this week. Now your story for this week. A communication comes in. It's a phone call, it's an email, it's a text message, and there's quite a bit of toing and froing. In other words, there's quite a bit of communication back and forth from this original communication that came in. You're having a conversation with somebody, either by text or email or phone call, and then you're going back and forth discussing something. Because what you're trying to do is build a firm foundation before you will commit. Okay? But there's a decision to be made, and there's a choice to be made here. Now, this could be playing out in your emotional life, in other words, your love life, or it could be playing out in your general life, in other words, your career, your children, whatever. Or it could be playing out in both, because it's definitely an overarching theme or energy again for this week. So now if we look at it from the love point of view, the messenger card comes up again there, which is interesting. And this card speaks about, so what could have happened is in your love life especially, or in your partnerships, this is to do with your one-on-one relationship with other people, some kind of information comes in and it's not necessarily good information. It doesn't necessarily make you feel good. It maybe makes you doubt somebody. But this card is saying, pay attention to where the information came from, firstly. Secondly, don't believe everything you hear. do some research and find out if someone's not up to mischief, if they're not just saying something off the cuff, because the next card says, let your friends help you. So do some questioning around. Ask the people around you. Ask your friends for their opinions. Ask a lot of people if necessary. Because although some people may just be carrying on with that story, somebody will give you the answer that you really know in your heart is probably the right one. Because that final card in this partnership or love section of your reading says, remember that all these coincidences are brewing into something important. So even though someone might have given you misinformation or told you something which you don't want to hear or which makes you a little bit unhappy with your relationships, there's a reason for that message coming in. It may not have anything to do with the actual message itself or the information it's relaying. But once you start doing a bit of digging or a bit of asking around or a bit of thinking about it yourself and getting to the root of it, that's probably what it is really about. That message is just to awaken you to asking the right questions or going looking for information or checking up on it. The message itself is not what this is about. So it's not a coincidence that that comes in. Nothing's going to be a coincidence. But the root of what you're looking for is different to what you think. You can actually see in this card there's a couple in the background. So that's quite interesting. I think this has to do with a couple. Then in life in general this week, it's saying there is much more going on than you realize. So once again, there's these layers happening, or there's something happening on the surface, seemingly on the surface, but below that, around that, deeper than that, something much bigger is happening. And can you see the rainbow there and the flowers blooming? So this is something good that is happening. And this says, take a step back and don't get caught up in the details as you may be missing the big picture. This has something to do with a long-held wish you've had. Something you made a wish for a while ago, which you might even have forgotten about by this point, is actually starting to manifest. And as it's starting to manifest, sort of independent little things are popping up all over the show. And you focused on those little independent things happening, but you don't realize it's all ingredients for a much bigger thing that is about to manifest. So don't get caught up in the little things. Don't let them distract you or get you feeling uneasy or uncomfortable. Realize they're all going to come together in something big that you wished for a while ago already. That's like really, really, okay, let me use my favorite word, interesting. But it is. This is going to be an interesting week. No two things about it. Your guidance card speaks once again of seek out deeper knowledge to see through deception. So that is once again speaking about that message coming in that is not what it seems to be. Or on the surface that is what it is. But that's not what the universe is trying to get your attention to. It's trying to steer you in a particular direction. And that message that is not true or accurate is merely a way of steering you in the right direction. Because once again, that next card, that decide card, speaks about let your heart lead you. Not dogma, not set formulations, not prescribed rules or false standards. So there's something that's pretended to be accepted, or the general rule, even though you don't agree with it. There's something like that that don't go with that. Go with what you know in your heart is right. So this could also be a situation where you meet up with somebody, those of you looking for a relationship a lot younger than you, and someone says something snide about the person only because they are younger than you, not because of who they are. And because generally it's not accepted that you date someone or marry someone younger than you, there could be marriage involved here. There is that ring showing up in the forecast, so that could be the kind of commitment. And someone says something because of the person being younger than you. In the meantime, that's not what it's about at all. It is about the fact that they're probably having a bad week themselves. They're probably going through a tough time in their relationship. And they go at the fact the person is younger instead of being honest about the fact that their relationship life isn't great at the moment. Anyway, that's just an example, although that's probably going to play out for somebody out there. I'm thinking that is somebody's story. But in your heart, you know the person's right for you. And when you think about it more deeply and you ask a good friend for their opinion, they'll probably tell you the same thing I'm telling you now. That's the kind of situation. Right, if you would like a personal reading, and I can take a look at this situation in your life and what is coming up, because this is very interesting. You can contact me at theoracletimes@gmail.com or book a reading via the website. Both URLs or web addresses are showing up in the owl picture now. Or you can choose your own cards from your own tarot deck. Right at the beginning of the video, you will see the instructions of what to do. That's good fun. It's really good fun and it's really affordable. Right, and I do hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you very much for watching. And peace.
The way that I go. Look out, the words that I know. Be out, the way that I know. I'm not looking onward. So where's my tongue-tied words that I cannot find? Hold me up so high that I can wear those things that float in the crowd. Bring it up sometimes, you know that it's loud.